the CEO of Emmaus Norfolk Waveney.
And my name is Joss and I'm one of the companions here also at Emmaus Norfolk Waveney.
For the next 30 minutes, we will take you on a real journey around the Emmaus world.
Let's go! So without further ado, we're going to go over to Patrick Atahan. He's the president of Emmaus International and has a message for us all the way from Benin.
Good afternoon to you all. You may well be wondering why we're holding this event on the 23rd of October. Although I'm sure I don't need to remind you that we had all decided together to hold our World Assembly in Uruguay from the 19th until the 23rd of October 2020. Our aim was to support our friends in Latin America in their constant quest for democracy, justice, and political campaigning. The COVID-19 global health crisis and its social, economic, and political consequences forced us to postpone this assembly until 2021. Our movement has supported all the groups as much as possible through different emergency mechanisms, particularly groups in Asia, the Americas, Africa, and some groups in Europe. Our primary concern was to stay in touch with groups through our international mobilization. After many months of suffering for groups in Africa, Asia and the Americas, the situation became slightly better in European countries, despite the heavy death toll due to the pandemic. We're all facing challenges, and we must draw lessons from these. This is why the Emmaus International Executive Committee would like to launch a consultation shortly so that we can gather the experiences of all groups and what they have faced during the global health crisis. This will no doubt be a process to boost our movement in preparing for our World Assembly. We must protect the core values of our movement, which are gathering together, tolerance, solidarity, and political campaigning. Let us all rally together for our World Assembly in 2021.
Thank you for that, Patrick. Now I'm sure you're all wondering what we actually do here at Emmaus Norfolk Waveney. Let's tell you more.
Our community was established in 2011 with just 4 companions. Our beautiful convent building is leased to us from the Sisters of All Hallows, who formerly lived here. They kindly offered us this community building for a hazelnut rent every year, and we're set in several acres in tranquil South Norfolk. We now have 32 rooms for companions on this site. This year, we were able to develop a further 10 rooms, taking us up to that number of 32. And that's particularly great as so many people are living in uncertain times due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We have 3 charity shops selling recycled, repurposed, donated goods. One in Ditchingham here, which is in the old convent building, which is a beautiful showroom. One little charity shop in Bungay, which is the nearest town to us. And our new huge charity shop in Norwich, which is our nearest city at 30 minutes away. We have 8 staff working as part of this community. Some are residential, so they live on site. One of the things that's really important for us in this community is developing new opportunities for companions to learn new skills. Last year, we built on our woodwork shop, and companions have gained many skills in working with wood and repurposing the items that come through the shops. This year, we opened up a blacksmith's forge and developed our first sculpture, which we're really proud of. We're now going to go on to do further training with a master blacksmith to build our skills and develop more opportunities for companions. We've got huge plans for our community. Because we've got this amazing site, which we're turning into a destination centre, we're going to refurbish all of the old nun cells, which are at the top of one of our retail buildings, and turn them into a bed and breakfast. We're also going to open a large restaurant on site in the Old Sisters Refectory. Very exciting times and an opportunity to build more social enterprises and offer more skills and training for companions.
So you're now going to see a video that some of you may have contributed to. Please stay awake, because you never know, you might see yourself.
But before we watch that video, us at Emmaus Norfolk Waveney would like to share a word that's really important to us.
Very important.
Oh, community. the International Solidarity Programme coordinated by Emmaus International. I think it's fair to say that solidarity is in our DNA.
Great, we're now going to hear from our Vice Chair, Moon Sharma, and Moon's going to be highlighting just how important these acts of solidarity are to communities all over the world.
Friends, namaste. I'm very happy that even in the midst of pandemic, we are together today in our Emmaus virtual world event. It's really a ray of hope for all of us. This certainly shows our commitment to our common values and resilience to fight back and be there together with solidarity in our actions for the most vulnerable. What a great feeling that we could organize this symbolic important event today. This shows that even in the hardest, difficult times, with so many hurdles faced, nothing can stop us to continue our fight against the poverty. As we know, these are extraordinary times for all of us. In the last several months, the world has gone through big changes in a negative way, with the rise of racial discrimination, polarization, and such a irresponsible act of the authorities with the unbelievable disaster in Lebanon. And the worst of worst is the ongoing crisis of COVID-19 pandemic, which has taken so many lives. It is heartbreaking misery confronted in many parts of the world, turning our lives upside down. The impact of these immense crises is severe on the precarious population at the grassroots. Hundreds of thousands of people have suffered sickness, death, hunger, loss of livelihood, and terrible uncertainty for the future. In midst of these crises, we remained hopeful, being the part of our movement. We are the blessed ones as catalysts, activists with our strong values of sharing, commitment, peace, and resistance. And that has kept us going on. We remain optimistic with our strong DNA of solidarity and sharing. We continue to pull back with our actions to sustain and be back on our feet. With the solidarity support actions of the movement, we could help more than 200,000 vulnerable people in our communities in different parts of the world, wherever we have groups. What a meaningful and immense work we all are involved and are able to achieve. It has really given us smile, hope, and courage to carry on our struggles. Friends, but this is not the time to sit back, as it's a long journey. It's a process. It is must for all of us to continue our struggle and stand with persistence to change our circumstances for betterment. We have to look ahead. I'm sure things will change. Today I think of Abe Pere, our founder, who said, "Do not wait to be perfect to start something good. Together, let's continue." Thank you.
Thanks, Moon. That was really interesting. It reminds me that Abbé Pierre left us a message about the fundamentals of Emmaus values. Let's listen to that now.
Actuellement, il y a 300 et quelques communautés dans 29 pays. En France, il y a un peu plus de 100, je ne sais pas exactement, communautés et environ 4000 compagnons en France. Avec les 3 règles, on travaille, on refuse toute aide de l'État pour manger, pour vivre. Si on veut nous donner un camion, une presse, un local, on accepte pour fonder une nouvelle communauté, mais pour vivre, on refuse tout prix de journée. C'est la première dignité regagnée. le pain qu'on mange, on l'a gagné par le travail. La deuxième règle, on partage. Le costaud qui peut porter des tonnes, rapporter beaucoup, n'a pas plus pour ses vacances, le dimanche, etc., que le petit vieux qui ne peut que balayer. Et troisièmement, on veut travailler plus que ce qui nous suffirait pour pouvoir, nous qui étions humiliés, des gens de trop marginaux, nous payer le luxe de donner. L'année dernière, un peu moins de 4000, après avoir vécu, payé la sécurité sociale, payé les congés, ont pu donner près d'1 milliard de centimes pour de nouvelles fondations en France ou dans d'autres pays du monde. Presque 1 milliard de centimes, n'est-ce pas? Par le travail à partir des ordures de la société. Voyez-vous?
Emmaus has a rich and interesting history. Sometimes it's worth going back to look at the history so we can see what Emmaus represents today and the challenges it faces across the world.
We'd now like to share with you extracts of video testimonials from witnesses who were there at the beginning of the formation of Emmaus International. Videos of these testimonials will be broadcast over the coming weeks.
Okay, in this next extract we're going to hear from Pepe Aravana, who was involved in the very first Emmaus meeting.
Critically, it was at this meeting on the 25th of May 1969 in Bern that the Universal Manifesto was adopted.
Por intercambio epistolar, en esa época no había internet, cartas van, cartas vienen, con los distintos grupos. El ABPIER fue formulando propuestas hasta que nos reunimos ya este comité provisorio para comenzar a discutir una proposición y terminar en este manifiesto de 7 puntos, que fue el manifiesto que se discutió y se aprobó en la primera Asamblea Mundial de Emmaus en Berna el 24 y 25 de mayo, en la sede del Parlamento de la Confederación Helvética. La idea central era servir primero al que más lo necesita, al que más sufre. Ese era el motivo fundamental. Nosotros hicimos esas dos propuestas, de lo que yo recuerdo, o sea, que las luchas tenían que ser personales pero también colectivas. Esto iba mucho más allá de las acciones individuales o pequeños grupos. Y por otra parte, que nosotros íbamos a obedecer las leyes justas de cada país. Porque al principio la primera propuesta decía de las leyes de cada país. Y nosotros planteamos las leyes justas. Porque en América hay mucha injusticia. Y es probable que en otras partes también. Darnos cuenta de que la miseria y la pobreza es algo internacional. Que en los países ricos había muchos pobres que sufrían. Por lo tanto, nuestro movimiento era mucho más allá de nuestras fronteras. Como decía en aquellas épocas el ABPIER, estábamos en guerra a la miseria, a sus causas y a sus responsables. El concepto de la internacional, del internacionalismo, fue casi desde un comienzo muy importante para nuestra formación y nuestra acción. Nosotros transmitimos una gran parte de la experiencia en nuestras comunidades de lo que habíamos aprendido aquí en las comunidades de Neuilly-Plessans y de otros grupos de Europa. No para imitar, pero sí para llevar esa experiencia de la vida en comunidad, del trabajo de recolección, del trabajo en la comunidad y servicio, por una parte, y luego comenzar a unir las luchas que dábamos en Chile con las luchas que daban los compañeros en Perú, en Argentina y también en otras partes del mundo, porque comenzó a crearse un nexo de información, de relación y también de intercambio voluntario. De hecho, nosotros recibimos a muchos compañeros de otros grupos de Emmaus de América y del mundo. Entonces comenzó a generarse también toda una amplitud de visión de la vida y del mundo. Y saber que no estábamos solos, sino que formábamos parte de una tremenda fuerza colectiva, lo que nos daba mucho auge, mucho impulso, mucha energía para sobreponernos a las dificultades que cotidianamente íbamos teniendo en cada uno de nuestros lugares.
Thank you, Pepe, for reminding reminding us of our history and why it's so important to be part of an international movement. To view the full video of Pepe's testimony, go online at Emmaus International website.
Thank you, Cecile. We're now going to see a video from Juan Malacuarez. He's the Vice President of Emmaus International, speaking to us from Peru, and he's going to be telling us the importance of attending Emmaus International meetings.
Even if it is a virtual one this year.
Good afternoon, Emmaus companions, volunteers and colleagues around the world. As always, it's important for us to meet each other. As you know, we had planned to hold our World Assembly at this time in our beloved Latin America. And although the Assembly is not being held physically, we have managed to meet in this virtual space. Because part of the life of our movement is gathering together. Of course, normally this is in person, but given the circumstances, we're able to meet in this virtual way to continue building, to continue reflecting, and to continue working together, to tell the world that we are alive, that we're not going to die, that we're not going to give up. Our movement has been able to respond to the challenges of this pandemic. We set up solidarity mechanisms to reach the poorest and to support the groups that were most affected. But today, we need to stop, and we need to find the values that are our social and political heritage. In other words, we need to put our heads and our hearts into the fight, to start working to destroy the causes of poverty. It's very important to assume our political role. And so from here, I invite you in your groups, in your communities, to think, to study, to reflect, to be able to build that better world that we all want. Thank you very much, my dear friends.
Well, that brings us to the end of our journey. Thanks so much for joining us at Emmaus Norfolk Waveney for the first ever virtual Emmaus International World Assembly.
So, from us here and all of our friends across the world, we wish you all the very best for the year ahead. Bye!
Bye.